Hi everyone. Today we're going to do a lab walkthrough introduction to Amazon EC2, lab overview and objectives. This lab provides you with a basic overview of launching, resizing, managing, and monitoring an Amazon EC2 instance. Okay. So Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud Amazon EC2 is a web service that provides resizable compute capacity in the cloud. It is designed to make web-scale cloud computing easier for developers. Amazon EC2's simple web service interface allows you to obtain and configure capacity with minimal friction. It provides you with complete control of your computing resources and lets you run on Amazon's proven computing environment. Amazon EC2 reduces the time required to obtain and boot new server instances to minutes, allowing you to quickly scale capacity both up and down. As your computing requirements change, Amazon EC2 changes the economic of computing by allowing you to pay only for capacity that you actually use. Amazon EC2 provide developers the tools to build failure resilient applications and isolate themselves from common failure scenarios. After completing this lab, you should be able to do the following: launch a web server with termination protection enabled, monitor your EC2 instance, modify the security group that your web server is using to allow HTTP access, resize your Amazon EC2 instance to scale, explore EC2 limits, test termination protection, terminate your EC2 instance. So our first task is to launch the Amazon EC2 instance. In this task, you will launch an EC2 instance with termination protection. Termination protection prevents you from accidentally terminating an EC2 instance. You will deploy your instance with a user data script that will allow you to deploy a simple web server. So in the AWS Amazon console, we're going to go to service and choose EC2. So note that verify that your EC2 console is currently managing resources in North Virginia, US East 1 region. You can verify this by looking at the drop-down menu at the top of the screen to the left of your username. If it does not already indicate North Virginia, then choose North Virginia region from the region menu before proceeding to the next step. Okay, seems like we are in the right regions. So then we're going to choose launch instance menu and then select launch instance. Okay. So step one, we're going to have name and tag. So give the instance name web server. So the name you give this instance will be stored as the tag. Tags enable you to categorize your AWS resources in different ways. For example, by purpose, owner, or environment. This is useful when you have many resources of the same type. You can quickly identify a specific resource based on the tags you have assigned to it. Each tag consists of a key and a value, both of which you define. You can define multiple tags to associate with the instance if you want to. In this case, the tag that will be created will consist of a key called name and a value of web server. Okay. So step 2, applications and OS images, Amazon machine image. So in the list of available quick start AMIs, keep the default Amazon Linux AMI selected. And then also keep the default Amazon Linux 2023 AMI selected. An Amazon machine image AMI provides the information required to launch an instance, which is a virtual server in the cloud. An AMI includes a template for the root volume for the instance, for example, an operating system or an application server with applications. Launch permissions that control which AWS account can use the AMI to launch instances. A blocks device mapping that specifies the volumes to attach to the instance when it is launched. So the quick start lists contain the most commonly used AMIs. You can also create your own AMI or select an AMI from the AWS Marketplace, an online store where you can sell or buy software that runs on AWS. So, step 3 is instance type. In the instance type panel, keep the default t2.micro selected, t2.micro right here. So, Amazon EC2 provides a wide selection of instance types optimized to fit different use cases. Instance types comprise varying combination of CPU, memory, storage, and networking capacity and give you the flexibility to choose the appropriate mix of resources for your applications. Each instance type includes one or more instance size, allowing you to scale your resources to the requirements of your target workload. So the T2.micro instance type has one virtual CPU and one TIB of memory. Note that you may be restricted from using other instance types in this lab. So step 4 is the key pair login, right? So for this one, we're going to have it's going to for key pair name require and choose Voki. So Amazon EC2 uses public key cryptography to encrypt and decrypt login information to ensure you will be able to log in to the guest OS of the instance you create. You identify an existing key pair or create a new key pair when launching the instance. Amazon EC2 when installs the key on the guest OS when the instance is launched. That way, when you attempt to log in to the instance and you provide the private key, you will be authorized to connect to the instance. Note that in this lab, you will not actually use the key pair you have specified to log into your instance. So step 5, network settings. Next to the network setting, we're going to choose edit. And then in here, for the VPC, we're going to choose the lab VPC. Okay. So the lab VPC was created using an AWS CloudFormation template during the setup process of your lab. This VPC includes 2 public subnets and 2 different availability zones. Note, keep the default subnet. This is the subnet in which the instance will run. Notice also that by default the instance will be assigned to a public IP address. So under the firewall security group, we're going to choose create security group. And then for the security group name, it's going to be this one. For the description, we're going to choose security group for my web server. So note here, a security group acts as a virtual firewall that controls the traffic for one or more instances. When you launch an instance, you associate one or more security groups with the instance. You add rules to each security group that allow traffic to or from its associated instances. You can modify the rules for a security group at any time. The new rules are automatically applied to all instances that are associated with the security group. So under inbound security group rules, notice that one rule exists. Remove this rule. Inbound security group rules. We want to remove this rule. Okay. Now step 6 is to configure storage. So in the configure storage section, keep the default setting. We want to keep default setting for this configure storage here. So Amazon EC2 stores data can on a network attached virtual disk called the Elastic Block Store. You will launch the Amazon EC2 instance using the default 8 GB disk volume. This will be your root volume, also known as a boot volume. Okay. Step 7 is the advanced details. So we're going to expand the advanced details. So in these sections, for the termination protection, we're going to select enable. Termination selection. Termination protection. We're going to choose enable. So when an Amazon EC2 instance is no longer required, it can be terminated. Which means that the instance is deleted and its resources are released. A terminated instance cannot be accessed again and the data that was on it cannot be recovered. If you want to prevent the instance from being accidentally terminated, you can enable termination protection for the instance, which prevent it from being terminated as long as the setting remain enabled. So scroll down to the bottom of the page, then copy and paste the code shown below into the user box. Okay. So when you launch an instance, you can pass user data to the instance that can be used to perform automatic installation and configuration tasks after the instance starts. Your instance is running Amazon Linux 2023. The shell script you have specified will run as the root guest OS user. When the instance starts, the script will install an Apache web server HTTPD, configure the web server to automatically start on boot, run the web server once it has finished install, create a simple web page. So we're going to launch an instance. So at the bottom of the summary panel on the right side of the screen, we're going to choose a launch instance and we're going to see a successful message. So now we're going to launch it. So it is successfully completed. Launch. Okay. So we're going to choose view all instance. So in the instance list, select web server. Okay. So review the information displayed in the detail tabs. So we have instance ID, public IPv4, it is running. So it includes information about the instance type, security setting, and network setting. The instance is assigned to the public IPv4 DNS so that you can use to contact the instance from the internet. To view more information, drag the window divider upward. So at first, the instance will appear in a pending state, which means that it is being launched, and then it changes to initializing, and then finally running. So it is running now. Wait for your instance to display the following: running and to check pass. Say running. Nope. not running yet right here. Let's refresh. It's initializing right here. So all we need to do is just go to wait for this to change from initializing to finally running, and then showing the 2/2 checks passed. So uh, it is it's for today lab. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day. Thank you.